Brett Baer, and we begin with this Fox News alert. On the same day, the cost estimate for a key healthcare reform plan was released. There is word tonight of a record deficit projection for the federal government. Chief Political Correspondent Carl Cameron is crunching the numbers for us tonight. Good evening, Carl.
Hiya there, Brett. The Congressional Budget Office says that the federal deficit for the fiscal year 2009 is projected to be a jaw-dropping $1.4 trillion. That is literally 3 times bigger than the deficit was in the year prior to that. This is the biggest federal deficit going all the way back to World War II. In past years, the federal budget deficit has been generally less than 3% of gross domestic product. This is nearly 10% of every dollar of the totality of U.S. economic growth. This comes on a day when the U.S. Congress is contemplating health care reform, and it's going to make passing health care reform a whole lot tougher. Today, the Congressional Budget Office also released its preliminary analysis of the Senate Finance Committee bill. It came out earlier today. The nonprofit Congressional Budget Office says the overall cost of the Baucus bill as amended is $829 billion over 10 years. By the year 2019, CBO says 94% of the American people will be covered, leaving about 23 to 25 million still uninsured in 10 years. The federal deficit would decrease $81 billion over the decade. The president has said repeatedly he won't sign a bill that raises the deficit. Medicare will face cuts of $404 billion, including $133 billion from the Medicare Advantage program. A tax on high-priced insurance plans would raise $201 billion to pay for other reforms, but many House Democrats oppose taxing so-called Cadillac insurance programs, which are popular in the labor movement.
This legislation, I believe, is a smart investment on our federal balance sheet. It's an even smarter investment for American families, businesses, and our economy.
Taxes on medical devices were supposed to go up $90 billion. Instead, taxes will rise $120 billion. The Republicans say taxes on businesses inevitably hit consumers.
Don't forget that corporations don't pay taxes, individuals pay taxes. So this is going to be passed through as an increase in premiums on middle-class Americans or people under $250,000 a year income. So you want to remember that this is not a tax on insurance companies.
What's more, the 10-year cost analysis assumes that tax collections start next year, but that spending doesn't begin until 2013. When the cost is calculated for the decade after that, it goes way up. The Democratic chairman of the Senate Finance Committee says that there will probably not be any votes on the measure tomorrow. That'll give lawmakers more opportunity to review. But the likelihood of a Friday vote is pretty slim, which means after all the talk this week, they'll talk it right into next week, which could push the Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid's timetable back significantly. More delays. Surprise, surprise. Brett.
Carl Cameron live on Capitol Hill. Carl, thanks.